A lot of people like to say that a person is a natural born leader. And the truth is there's no such thing as a natural born leader. Leaders are made, not born. And so one of the things that really spurred me to start Clear Vision was to teach people who some might not consider to be a natural born leader that they actually can lead through their strengths, maximizing those strengths and minimizing those weaknesses. First thing we do when we work with companies or executive teams is we take measurements in two areas. We first take measurements in the area of the organization. We measure its culture. We measure the voice of several constituents inside that company to get an idea of what the environment and the culture is like.
By understanding how my business partners make their decisions and what drives them, as well as them understanding what drives me, it makes us a very strong group of individuals that can lead our company going forward.
Since working with Clear Vision, one of the changes we've seen is our culture. I mean, like our employees have noticed it. We've noticed it within our business partners. We have a lot more communication. I think a lot more enjoyment for people coming to work with us. I think they have more of a sense of direction.
The other thing we do is we take people measurements. So in other words, we take measurements on the people involved, whether or not that's the people at the highest level at the executive team, whether it's department heads, whether it's employees, business owners. We get measurements on them and we get measurements on the company. We compare that data and we look for the gaps that we can help close.
I think my favorite thing in working with Tony is his ability to see the true me. Doing the assessment is spot on. He can evaluate that assessment and really help me understand myself as well as my business partners better. By doing that, it only strengthens our company.
Leadership is not going to a conference. Leadership is not bringing home a tote bag. Leadership is not a one-time event. That's not leadership. Leadership can only happen through influencing other people, which takes consistent daily practice.
What Tony has done through meeting with him and answering questions and being accountable is that before you come to meet with him the next time, you want to make sure you've done these things. And we get to talk about them and what worked, what didn't work, how do we adjust.
He almost issues you a direct challenge, not in a confrontational way, but in a kind of, hey, you can do this, why aren't you already doing it kind of way. And I really appreciated that challenge. It made me feel like, you know, why am I not doing these things already, and kind of try to jump in and do a better job at them.
I think everything rises and falls on leadership. So companies are only going to be successful to the level of leadership that's provided inside the company. So an area where we really provide intervention at the highest level is in the area of leadership development.
I always thought to myself, do I have the time to go out and meet Tony for the sessions? And now then I look at it that I don't have the time not to meet with Tony on the sessions. So I look forward every time that we get together, and we always take something new away from our sessions, and it's something we really look forward to each time.
I've noticed improved focus with my customers. I'm in a face-to-face business where I need to be present and aware with how my customers are interacting with me, and I think I'm getting a better response with those face-to-face interviews.
It can be life-changing, but it certainly has, people have noticed something different. They're not sure what, but they know there's something different.
The person that comes to mind that saw a real big change in me is my wife, and you know, we've known each other since we were high school sweethearts.
The way we recruit for companies is it's a lot like team building. We define the role very specifically. In many cases, we benchmark the role. In other words, we get very, very clear on the seat on the bus, as Jim Collins would say. So then we know what the ideal candidate looks like when we go to recruit them.
Clear Vision has helped us a lot with recruiting. We had done a search for ourselves, trying to find a key employee to fit an important position with very little luck. We asked Tony for assistance in this matter, and what he came back with was a lot of different options.
And so once we benchmark the role and clearly identify the role, then we'll begin to do a search. And we search for people all over the United States, and we also can go global if we have to. And we research candidates. We usually find anywhere from 50 to 60 candidates per job. We narrow that down to the top 10, which then becomes a final 4 or 5.
He identified several key people who could fit that position. We went through the interview process, and we have since hired a person for that position, and it's been a great fit. So we're very pleased with both the process as well as the individual that was found to fill that position.
We're trying to free the organization from its constraints, and we're trying to free the client from their constraints. So the thing that holds growth back is going to be those constraints. So we clearly identify them and then put together strategies to overcome those constraints. And that can be done in multiple ways.
He has led us to believe that we can go after the projects that we desire. There is nothing that's too far out of our reach. We do have the tools inside ourselves that we can go out and grab them and go after them.
He's got a lot of experience. There's a lot of knowledge that he has. That it's nice to be able to ask him questions, and he can just give you some perspective or direction.
Probably my favorite thing of working with Tony has been the relationship we've developed. There's been a lot of knowledge. Tony's become a friend, and at the same time he's holding me accountable.
There's nothing more gratifying and satisfying than helping them overcome those constraints so that they can be what they always wanted to be.
Crockett Engineering is very pleased that we're recipients of Small Business of the Year. We thank the Chamber for that, and we certainly thank Tony for that. We think that his teachings and his leadings have really put us in a position where we were noticed, and then we were nominated, and then the nominating committee went through and selected us. And we give Tony a lot of credit for that, because without him we weren't able to position ourselves to be the recipients of such a great honor.
It's very difficult in any environment, good or bad, to build a business. It's very difficult in any environment to develop people. That's the crossroads in which we meet our clients, is at the organizational and leadership development crossroads. That's primarily how we help them.